Hello and welcome back to BlizzCon, the final day of the HGC Finals for 2018. My name is Kevin, and man, have we had an amazing matchup. That last one was incredible. Let's hear it one more time for Team Liquid on their amazing play. What an incredible game against Gen G. Gen G did manage to take the win. Gen G moves on, but Team Liquid played fantastically. We couldn't have asked for a better matchup there in the semifinals. We got one more semifinal matchup to go. This one is gonna be equally as amazing. Miracle versus Dignitas. I can't wait. Let's head on over to the desk to get it all started.
Indeed, we are but one match away from the one thing we have all been waiting for, the HGC Grand Finals and a rematch of a match that's been in the making for a year. I'm Gillyweed here with Kaldor, Trixler, and Jayhow. There's one team that can keep that rematch from happening. Jayhow, what do you think of that last match? Because it was a hell of a match.
It was so crazy. Like, I was watching it backstage. I was tired of not feeling the energy, so I sat out here in the crowd and listening to these two guys. I mean, the hype is real behind that series. It was incredible, but Gen G, everybody was reminding me of 2 years ago, Kaldor, you and I, in almost this exact same scenario. It was like they went out on Braxis. Somebody's like, is it going to happen again? I'm like, oh my God, that did happen. But they clutched it out this time.
It was pretty impressive, to be honest. Like, that final map was just absolutely insane. The map chosen, the entire path towards it. Game 4, that Liquid actually turned it around in Game 4. I did not think that was possible after how dominant Gen G was in Game 2 and 3.
That series was exciting and it was draining. I mean, you and I had to go eat chicken just to refuel for this matchup. Like, it was an amazing match. And now suddenly we're in a position where it's like, okay, can Dignitas and Miracle even match up to what we just saw?
That is the million-dollar question, because as we take a look at the bracket now, Miracle are going up against a team that, you know, we used to look at this matchup, Europe versus Korea, and we'd say, it's Korea, it's all the time. But Dignitas comes in, not even just a favorite for this match, but as one of the favorites for the whole tournament, Kaldor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ever since this squad formed, they have been so dominant. They've been playing so well, but when it comes to these grand finals, they so often just fell short that tiny little bit, and they of course want to finally overcome Gen G in particular and take them down here. And especially after what we've seen at the mid-season Brawl Grand Final, I think everyone's eyes were immediately locking onto the BlizzCon Finals, and everyone expected them to face off against each other once more. But Miracle yesterday looked pretty good.
And yesterday, we heard from Miracle, Trixler, and they said, Dignitas haven't beaten Gen G. We have.
That's a good point. I mean, Miracle is a team that is delivering in this entire tournament. So I hope that even though we're all kind of sitting here and saying, okay, we can't wait for that big rematch we've been wanting to see since the MSB, I hope that Dignitas is not in that mindset. Dignitas should be focusing on one game at a time. And I think that's echoed with the players. I've already talked to Poik a little bit, actually in the back, smiling, being normal as usual. And I was like, hey man, how's it going? Are you feeling pretty good about yourself? He goes, yeah, we're going for that 17-0. Because so far, they actually have not lost a map yet. So they're looking for a 3-0 today.
Well, Liquid made it as close as possible for Gen G. Do you feel like Miracle can do the same for Team Dignitas? Do you feel like Miracle can win versus Team Dignitas? A hungry, hungry Team Dignitas.
That's the thing, is that Dignitas is so strong. They're literally the best team, I think, here. After watching Gen G, it now seems like Dignitas seems like the favorite. And then I look at Miracle, a team that 6 months ago, everybody's like, Miracle. And then all of a sudden they formed this roster, they came together, they've had the studs start to come in. Nobody had broken through the top 3 in Korea, let alone the top 4. And Miracle just overtook everybody. Now they're one of 2 remaining Korean teams here. And I think for them, this might be that final step to where it's like, if we're going to prove it, this is it, because there's no bigger challenge than Dignitas. But for Dignitas, they are so, so strong. I'm on the Dignitas hype train for this tournament. I don't know if Miracle can make it past them.
Well, only one semifinal left, and Sniper and company are here to prove that only a Miracle can keep Team Dignitas from the Grand Finals.
In the semi-final against Miracle, I think they'll be very tough opponents. We're practicing against them a lot throughout our boot camp and even in the opening week. I think some of their upcoming talent like Frankel and Blue Beetle, while new to the BlizzCon stage, have performed very, very well throughout their time in the HGC and are very, very scary players to play against. So I think for sure it'll be a tough match.
Miracle, they've shown a lot of prowess in what they do. They really synergize well together as a team. Honestly, their teamwork and their decisions they make like on the fly as a team is incredible. We're probably going to look to exploit that somehow, you know, take the skirmishes instead of the full-on team fighting that they're really incredible at. They're a bit of a wild card, you know, not exactly sure what to expect, but we're confident we're going to beat them. We have little things up our sleeves and we're ready.
사실 디그니타스라는 팀은 이렇게 4강에서 만날 게 아니고 결승에서나 봐야 되는 팀이라고 생각을 하는데 여기서 만나가지고 솔직히 승패를 떠나서 그냥 재미있는 경기를 하고 싶은 마음밖에 안 드네요. 승패를 떠나서 솔직히 실감이 안 나요. 상상은 해본 적이 있지만 실제로 해본 적이 없기 때문에 상상만 하고 있는데도 떨리고 그만큼 기대되기도 해요. 그 많은 사람들 앞에서 게임을 해서 잘하면 어떤 반응일지가 약간 기대하는 게 더 큰 것 같아요. 저희의 원래 목표는 결승전까지 가는 게 목표였는데 지금 조대진을 보니까 조대진이 너무 빡빡하더라고요. 그래가지고 4강까지만 가서 재밌게 경기할 수 있으면 더 바랄 게 없을 것 같아요.
Only got a couple more of these to go, so let's do it right now. Let's give a warm BlizzCon welcome to the team out of Korea. In the red corner, it's Miracle! All right, and in the blue, the best team from the EU. You know them, you love them. It's Team Dignitas! All right, captains, center stage to shake hands. Good luck, gentlemen. May the best team win. We're over to the desk. Let's go.
Both semifinal matches now, we've heard from the teams, the underdogs, in this case being Miracle, that why are we facing this team in anything but the grand finals? It's ridiculous. But I feel like that's such a great reference point and why we continue to talk about Gen G, Team Dignitas, Gen G, Team Dignitas. These two teams are titans.
But I mean, honestly, if Team Liquid has proven anything, it's you can't count any of the teams in the top 4 out, because that was an incredible performance, and we could actually look at Liquid in the grand final. So Miracle, yes, they should respect Dignitas, but I think they come in prepared, and this could very well go very differently from what we all expected coming into the tournament.
Yeah, that's a good point, because Liquid respects Gen G, but they didn't give them too much respect in the games. They fought them down talent tiers. They fought them when they needed to. They understood that they can't give too much respect or Gen G will walk all over them.
No, I gotta completely agree with you here. Miracle deserves to be here, and they've shown that multiple times. With their big win on Tempest yesterday, I will fully back them no matter what as a team. And they have power picks that I am so excited to come out today and play against Dignitas, in particular Natojin in that Blaze. When he plays Bunker, most Blazes win a team fight when they use Bunker. He stops the opponents in their tracks, and I can't wait for him to pull that out. And then also, of course, Thrall for Sniper.
Sniper's been getting away with a lot on that Thrall. He's been making plays.
Perhaps.
He's the luckiest Crash Lightning Thrall I've seen in my life, dude. He finishes those stacks so quickly.
It's like that, but on the other side, I realize the one simple truth is that Nacho Jin, a BlizzCon champion, there's one person on this team of Dignitas that can't say that, but is regarded as the best player in that role, and that is Wubby. Wubby does things that nobody else does. I was talking to McIntyre about it last night, and it's just like, you do things, and all of a sudden you realize 5 seconds later, like, wait a minute, he just got me, and then all of a sudden it creates so much momentum for a team like Dignitas early in the game.
And I want to bring it back to that point that we heard from Miracle yesterday. Yes, Miracle have beaten Gen G when Team Dignitas have not. But Dig on LAN is a very real thing.
It definitely is. They build that momentum up, and they actually talked at the beginning of the season a lot about how they need to overcome a bit that problem that they oftentimes have in game number 1, where they need a little bit of a warm-up time. And so far, at least in online play in the regular season, they did do exactly that. But once he gets into the late stage of the tournament, they are just looking unbeatable, and they have to prove that today in this best of 5.
I would argue they've even done it in offlane. I mean, you look back to the Western Clash, they are 24-0 right now. They have not lost a single map offline. They are destructive right now. They are destroying anyone in their path, and I don't see them stopping anytime soon.
I wish I could argue that. This Dignitas team, I mean, every single thing I look at that they do, and I think, all right, Miracle's there. What can we get from Miracle?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what does Dignitas not do better? So Miracle, they have enough firepower. We heard from Snitch. I've heard from Snitch when we were at Eastern Clash, and he was there as an analyst, and he was speaking about the power of Korea, and then he was talking about Frankel, who wasn't there, but it was a matter of, okay, we've got all of this firepower, all of these teams. It's like, can we get this? And I just don't know. They have it. But this is just such a huge huge mountain.
Well, Team Dig have already made it past the point that they lost last year. Sniper has already made it past the point where he lost, so anything else would be icing on the cake, except Dig really wants that win. So let's get going with the game 1 of this best of 5 into the Battleground pool, where we will see what bans commence. Now, Team Dignitas actually kind of does the same thing that Gen G does. They ban Braxis Holdout all the time in their region, but have shown at this tournament they're willing to let that go, and they've done it here. We'll see if that comes back to bite them the same way that it nearly did for Gen G.
I mean, the one thing that we always talk about when we're talking Miracle is how they want a team fight and how well they do in these team fights. So the ban that we're seeing coming in from Team Liquid here doesn't shock me too much. They're just simply saying, listen, battlefield that is exactly down the hallmark of our opponent wants to do. Let's take that away from them and play around that strength.
What we saw last time for Miracle on this map was the Ana pick, and it was against Gen G, I believe. So it's a matter of Gen G had an amazing counter draft towards that. Wubby does very good in the drafting role for Dignitas. So see if there's a similar approach to maybe target some of the power plays that they get around the heroes with Frankel and maybe try and manipulate that. The Garrosh we know has been a very strong pick for Miracle, and that's just off the board instantly.
For me, I'm wondering if we're going to be getting that Abathur element that we didn't get in the Team Liquid series, because a lot of Korean teams haven't been banning out the Abathur, and Dignitas is no stranger to running that composition. I mean, against Tempest, they ran Abathur Jaina and completely wiped the floor with them. So I would love to see that in this best of 5 series.
And quite a few teams have, actually from Korea, have struggled into that solo support Abathur. So that's definitely a huge concern, or there has to be for Miracle at some point. They don't really give over a ban just yet. We saw it in the previous series too, but that is something I could see come out from Dignitas.
It's interesting to me to see that Genji ban, considering a lot of teams have been leaving both Maiev and Genji to the second pick team to have to take care of. But that allows Miracle to ban Diablo away, and we may see Judy's Garrosh here.
Jaina's also left open too for Frankel, which has been a major player for him. On that Li Ming in the Jaina has earned them a network of wins in the offseason play.
I mean, with the bans here, you can immediately see how much they are targeting the front line. You have Garrosh banned out, you have Diablo banned out, so the immediate question is then, what are we going for here? Are we going to get Johanna maybe on... are we going to see at some point maybe Muradin coming back, depending on the follow-up that you get here?
A noob.
A noob.
It's what Miracle ran versus Gen G too.
When you have JPL, mind you, this is his last tournament. It's whatever. We get the Kerrigan pick, though. We know how devastating that can be. You get the multiple stun lockdown from those 3 heroes alone. Everything else can go around that, so there is a lot to build into. Snitch being shown there. Snitch has been the ultimate flex player for so long, but it seems like every single tournament, he just somehow gets better, and that's not something you traditionally say for somebody that's been around as long as he has.
I would hazard to say, I think he's better than Rich at this tournament.
I would not argue.
Like he's more flexible in those melee assassins, and I didn't think it was possible, but I think he's done it.
The one thing that amazes me most about Snitch is not necessarily even how much he has grown as a player, but as a person. Like, if you've seen him like 1 year or 2 ago here at a big offline event, he was a lot more immature than now, and he's the leader of the team in any aspect. Like, he's the one who presents he's the face of the team, he's the one who echoes their thoughts, he has a calming effect on them. And that translates also in his gameplay. I mean, he has come into an amazing person that is one of the best players that we have in this game right now.
He talked about in an interview last week. He mentioned that when Bakery and crew left, he said, oh, I guess I have to lead this team now. And he has filled those shoes perfectly, and it's why they are here on the last day of BlizzCon.
Absolutely.
Over to Miracle. Johanna and Urel comes out, getting that wave clear, but also a strong front line for Hanzo to fire away.
I love the Urel because it's a denial to pair with that frontline dive, and now the Gul'dan is still available if we see Miracle go down that route, unless it's picked up by Poik. We could still see something like the Mephisto, which is not foreign to a team like Miracle.
Leo coming out, and Gul'dan.
You told me about Wubby and Leo and the relationship that they have.
Yeah, he's not into Leo like he is Urel. You know, there's something going on there. But he brings out the wave clear. We got his Entombs available. The full dive capabilities available here, and it also builds into that late game. I love it as a pick here for Team Dignitas.
Well, they could go into the Thrall if they really wanted to and move Frankel over onto the Hanzo. It doesn't seem as likely, but they have the flexibility because Sniper can fit so many roles. So I'm curious what this last pick is going to be.
gonna be Sonya.
Yeah, another melee though. Sonya's so great. We saw Sonya in the previous series. She lived a long time. She died eventually, but Sonya can be almost unkillable on the shrine.
I really like Sonya into Kerrigan as well because Sonya wants to be in your face, right? And Kerrigan, while she wants to get you close to her face, she doesn't want you completely in your face. So when Sonya jumps in and suddenly makes it a little bit awkward for those combos, that's where your team can find those moments to find a couple of kills. So Sonya brings a lot to the battleground, but also for dealing with Kerrigan.
But there's a lot of things to deal with the Sonya at the same time to stop the whirlwinds. And if this is Sniper on Sonya, Miracle's strength is heavily dependent on what Sniper can do with his heroes.
I'm just happy. Look at the draft. It's very reminiscent of the series that we had previously. A massive commitment to the front line, massive commitment to win the Shrine fights. A lot of brawls coming out of this. You have the Kerrigan engage again.
Well, we saw Rich on that mouth hill was hyper aggressive in that. Me and Dread are back there like, is he going to go in? Yep, he went in, he gets punished. And that's what Kerrigan can do. That's what the Anubarak can do. And then having the Tyrande there to mark you up every single time you come in. My question is, how aggressive will Dignitas be? Because they don't have the Yrel pairing with the Anubarak.
Right.
You only have so many heals. So it is a matter of you can go in, but do you come out if you don't get those kills? And this is a very tanky composition for Miracle.
Well, let's find out how aggressive Team Dignitas can be. We're ready for game one, so let the games begin.
Counter, let's hop into this. Before we go, I was talking about Leoric and his point right there. Leoric actually kind of brings that disengage available to Dignitas. You can say, all right, Leo, we are willing to sacrifice you. Everyone else, get away from the team fight. So I think Dignitas has actually brought a really solid draft here.
We've seen fantastic Entombs in previous series too. So the question is now, can they follow that up here as well? Dignitas, it's their time to shine here. Gen G has already made their part happen. They went to the grand final. The question is, how is Dignitas going to do here? But Miracle can be a tough opponent. Honestly, I'm scared of Miracle.
Yeah, literally last night I was going to bed and I was like, wait a minute. Is there a chance that Dignitas doesn't make it to the grand finals? Like, if anyone did it, it may be Miracle. But here goes, jump into it here. JPL will be on the Anubarak here on the left side in the blue. Wubby to pull off that lead. Auric, Oik to show off some Goldan. Hopefully finishing out that corruption staff. Snitch on Kerrigan. And finally, Zelia on Tyrande. BlizzCon, are you cheering for Dignitas?
They're not the only ones in this game. To the right of Infernal Shrines, game number 1 in this best of 5. Sniper on Yrel, Frankel playing Hanzo in this first game. Nacho Jin on the Sonya. We're seeing Blue Beetle on Deckard again, and Judy on Johanna. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Miracle!
Immediately, all eyes are on top of Snitch here, looking for those combos, trying to find those couple of picks, and then you're going to have JPL followed up with a big cocoon. Oh, hang on here, though. Here goes an immediate fight right away. Nacho did trouble. He's spinning out, but he was so close to death.
Yeah, Dignitas definitely coming out swinging in this one, nearly taking first blood here in the first engage. Already also a few adjustments in terms of the build. When we talk Leoric, we oftentimes talk about how Awesome's renewal came in through the Korean meta that was displayed at the Eastern Clash. It was a huge change for the European scene, making that happen. But right now we are seeing Wubby going into the Consume Vitality again. Of course, for those Shrine fights, definitely something they can get extra value out of.
Counter, how did I know that you would talk about Leoric? We knew that was coming there. Yes, a bit of a change up here, but that also kind of builds in the idea that we were talking about on the desk a little bit. Whenever we need those engages for Kerrigan, now you have Leo can jump up, steal a little bit more life in the middle of the fight, try to hit that back line, and that buys more time for his teammates.
I've already told you about our Lord and Savior, and that's right.
I would love to hear about it sometime, but for now we got to focus on an amazing match here. Sonya also bringing out that slam build there at level 1, looking to help with that wave clip, but also to bring in some decent damage in the team fights. Dignitas, though, not missing a beat, already jumping on the mercenary camps here to the south.
Yeah, and Miracle has to be careful, especially of that Kerrigan engage. It is always such a huge threat here. When we're talking about wave play, we mentioned the Leor cooldown reduction on level 1, but you have that that cooldown behind you as well. Fights are also plenty in this game as we once again have the engage. Miracle trying to jump out here. Sniper needs to be cautious, and he's able to walk away, but both of the teams showing their willingness to be aggressive from the get-go.
Yeah, Miracle is not scared at all. Not stepping up there, looking to try and get on top of Tyrande. Is only able to kite away, but it is something that we have to worry about later on, especially when that damage build comes online for Sonya. Tyrande can be sniped quickly if Dignitas is not careful, but Miracle showing once again that they want to stick with what they love. Being a bow constrictor, getting those kills, and trying to tighten up and find the pits.
I'm seriously looking forward to these big team fights, because you look over to Dignitas have, and you have a really good idea of what their strategy is going to be like. But then Miracle have a lot of good counterparts. You have those zoning aspects of Deckard Cain. You see the extra armor coming in through Yrel, which especially Sonya can benefit from. And of course, Johanna condemns,
Yeah.
get the flash right out, make sure that there are a couple of blinds coming through, and that could really stop Dignitas and really make it difficult for them to get those kills. So it has to be snap plays.
They drafted survivability, and with the Blaze ban, they wanted to make sure they had the best options available to be able to get through that initial push from team at Dignitas. Sony, when that Wrath comes online, should be able to jump on the back line. Urel, we know she can live forever when she gets an Ardent Defender. Hanzo the only one at a major risk here, but he should be playing safe in near Decker Kane. Actually worried for Dignitas to find those kills, but they can get Punisher pickoffs if they're on point. Speaking of kills, Snitch in the middle.
Snitch
Ooh.
goes down, and Kerrigan dies, and that is a bad time to lose a Kerrigan. Shrine is up, and already Miracle taking the control here and trying to take the lead. Dignitas still on the outskirts of the objective, attempting to get a couple of minion hits, but that was definitely a setback for Dig.
Dignitas could be considering just giving up this point, but would love to get a couple corruption stacks, so hanging around here to be able to finish that off. Also, Toronto's level 4, that Lunar Flare want to get that too. But they are hanging pretty close here, 18 to 24, and Kerrigan's on her way back.
You're right, they're hanging in there. The lead has been taken by Miracle, but Dignitas isn't doing too badly, and Snitch is back to business.
Sniper on the left side, ready to flank in. Boom, jump straight on in. Poik and
Poik.
goes with
Poik.
He gets knocked back, and Miracle has 2 kills.
The counter kill against Sonya, though, as Dignitas is immediately trying to make some plays of their own here. They're going for that Shrine. Who gets the Punisher? Dignitas with the hits, but 38 against 36. Is Miracle able to get it? They want to go for JPL. They can't get the bug, but they get the Punisher.
Miracle gets a Punisher. They're low on mana, but they're chasing now. They're looking for a kill as well. Wubby should be able to escape. Snitch also in the top right, but Miracle, with the first Punisher of the game in its best of 5 series, should be opening the wall.
2 kills against 1. 8 stacks on the Echoed Corruption here for Poik, who was pressured heavily from Miracle, as we saw that great flank coming in from Urel. Punisher moves in, and Miracle with a follow-up against the wall. They're even looking with Judy if they can maybe get a bit more out of this.
Dignitas should be able to defend this. The Ford does take a bit of a beating, but it's fine. A little over half health. Level 7's more important here for Dignitas. They need to start soaking up and contain Sonya, who's in the top lane.
Wubby helping out with the defense at first, but then once Sonya started to push out the lane topside, he immediately made the rotation to ensure that they would not lose any lane experience. So even with the first Punisher taken, Miracle isn't really far ahead in XP at all. They're taking a tiny lead. They opened up the wall. That's a win for them, but Dignitas is currently still holding their own in this game.
What's illustrated for me here is that Miracle has no fear against facing us against Dignitas. They're happy to be here. They were wholesome about it in their interview, but in their gameplay, they are showing that they are willing to bring the fight to Dignitas. That is a huge testament to them, and another reason why they deserve to be here. Our Miracle steps up, takes the mercenary camp away from Dignitas, and Dignitas just holds on safely.
Dignitas is a very similar team when we talked in the last match about execution oftentimes, and how when you see a Korean team fall behind in the early game, it's the level 10 that you really have to worry about. And I feel the same is also true for Dignitas. Whenever in our regional play we are seeing that, it's always watch what happens on level 10. Is Dig turning it around? And that's currently what I'm thinking here too. Teams are neck to neck, but it's level 10 when Dignitas usually really comes into their own.
I mean, we saw it with the Team Liquid series. That Horrify, such an amazing tool, especially against a Sonya who starts spinning there, maybe overstepping a bit, thinks she gets that full engage, and then you just blow her up.
Absolutely. Horrify is such a game changer, and you've executed a good one, then you're in a great spot here. And let's not forget that we're also having that Cocoon all of a sudden. So you can really get isolation picks, kills, try and just completely destroy the synergy on your opponent's side.
All about that number advantage. Johanna will help out a lot, though, with that Iron Skin being able to step up and deal with that onslaught coming forward. The Ballistic Shield can slow down the momentum of Dignitas, so Miracle will be fine themselves at level 10. For now, we are at level 9, and we are building towards that 10 right now. The next shrine will be spawning to the south for both of our teams.
Miracle also with, of course, that aggressive potential. You have the Poison Spear on level 7. You can get a bit of burst damage in. You can follow that up with Hanzo. And level 10 abilities will give them also a lot of CC that's going to be available through Hanzo's engage. And, of course, you can follow that up with Deckard Kane. You have a Blessed Shield. So there's a lot of initiations on both sides that can be used to secure a kill quickly in a battle.
Nitrogen in the bottom. Combo comes out, but misses. Nitrogen spins away. Luna Flare comes in. JPL with the big flank. Here's a Burrow Charge. Here's a knock-up, and Sonya will fall. Dignitas by the second kill of the game.
Great kill by them, and that's the Cocoon play that we just talked about. You force the fight again, you get a kill, you try to make it through.
Impale.
You go for Hanzo, and so far Frankel still survives, but not for long.
Love the play there from JPL, actually. I thought he would drop the Impale first, but he actually waited for where Hanzo was going to be jumping away with that natural agility, and then chase after with the Burrow Charge. Miracle loses 2, and Dignitas able to find a couple of kills at a perfect time, too. A Shrine activating in 15 seconds.
50 seconds, on the other hand, when we're looking towards that Horrify, so that it is going to allow Miracle to engage into that Shrine fight a bit more aggressively.
Ardent Defender, all these abilities available here for Miracle. You got that Wrath of Berserker as well for Sonya to jump in. And that Stay a While and Listen, even more important. What a great way to stop momentum from your opponent. Just put them all to sleep as they engage.
It's going to be such a great first game here. Already they engage onto JPL, and he
Arrow.
some damage. The arrow, they hit, they go for the bomb, they want him. JPL in trouble.
He gets out, Stay a While, Listen comes out at the same time, but it's not missing. At the same time, Stitch turns around, gets the combo, it connects, Sniper in trouble, and here's an Entomb.
The Entomb comes out and blocks the pathway, but JPL falls the counter kill once more against Sonya. Sniper is also in trouble. He jumps out, it's not enough. The kill is there. Dignitas takes the double kill.
Yrel used the Ardent Defender, and that's when the Cocoon came out. They waited for the duration of the Ardent Defender and cleaned it up afterwards. Miracle losing too, and now Dignitas will take the reward, which is a big punisher to push in the bottom lane. The best part too, top lane's pushing in already.
5 kills against 3 in Dignitas' favor, and they are a level ahead at this point. Miracle at the beginning showing the aggression, but right now struggling as Dignitas is hoping to take down the bottom fort, maybe even get 13, and looking for more kills as a follow-up of the Punisher stun.
That's right. The Punisher, when it jumps in, you'll see Kerrigan dive in. Even a Nubrak, too, who's on his way, should be here in a couple of seconds. Miracle, aware of this threat, is actually going to give up that fort. Go soak in the middle lane instead.
Already the pressure at the bot side. Top, of course, at the same time, Wooby is draining down nitrogen, but the fort is going to fall, and that will be level 13 in the hands of Dignitas. They have Cocoon, and Miracle knows it. They cannot hang around here. They know that at any point, Dignitas has the option to force the fight through an Anubarak engage in a quick Cocoon.
It felt like Miracle was hoping for a better Stay a While and Listen. They only got the one target to Kerrigan, which didn't allow for them to find that kill afterwards. Dignitas was able to escape, especially with Nubrak burrow charging away.
Oh, yeah.
Finally, Miracle's going to defend that bottom lane, but look at the results. Dignitas has level 13, a level and a half lead on Miracle. Miracle is going to need to pull it together soon.
Wait, let's be honest about this. There was a scary moment for Dignitas initially when all of a sudden JPL gets caught. He's able to survive through of it, dies then later on, but it was still a 1-for-1 trade. If he dies to the initial engage, we're looking at a completely different situation.
One thing Miracle can do is make sure that that next shrine phase that pops up, they are the first ones there. Have Sonya pop that Wrath, make sure that's running. Be ready for the fight. You have the explosive arrow for the clear too. Just make sure you beat Dignitas to the punch.
Great move by Dignitas here, taking the fountain now. The next objective is going to spawn towards the top, so that already helps them to gain a small advantage over Miracle when they're trying to go for the shrine fight. They themselves still have that fountain. They can always top up or just pre-tap before they go straight into the battle.
On the other side, Miracle just playing it safe, going towards that 13, not allowing for anyone to get picked off. You have Yrel even playing safe in the top right corner, with a couple of members of Dignitas missing on the battleground. They just want to play it safe. But Dignitas is going to take advantage of that vision, and Miracle playing on the safer side. They run straight to the bottom, grab this camp as well, which will be pushing towards that keep wall.
Yeah, Miracle knows right now they're behind, but as long as they focus on the next objective, if they take a team fight, they're back in this easily. They know there's very little chance of Dignitas reliably having a level 16 available. But Miracle already with the aggression at the top, trying to put some pressure onto Wooby, but he's holding his own, of course, on the lane.
Yeah, he hit that drain hope. The moment you hit that drain hope as a rework, you know you're in a decent spot.
Yeah.
Healing up, clearing out the minion wave, no pressure. Teammates coming too. Lunar Flare connects. Sniper trying to retreat here on the top right side. Not popping that Ardent Defender, but Dignitas getting some decent damage in there with only 3.
And Wooby absolutely no fear. I love also Snitch's play at the bot side. Throughout all of this, pushes the waves out, makes sure that he smoothed the way for that camp that he just now took, and is then able to make an easy rotation in the middle, grab the experience, and join up with the rest of the team topside eventually.
Yeah, building towards that 16. Gul'dan right now at 22 stacks of the 40 that he needs to synergize with that level 16 he's wanting to move into and pick up. But still, Dignitas is working towards that, and they're completely on track right before the shrine. Miracle might not even have a chance to even fight for the shrine. Have to play it safe, give up their fort, and soak out for the next fight.
Dignitas, with all that soak that we've seen in bottom and mid lane, are now so close to 16 that whenever that shrine gets announced, they will have all the time in the world to get that extra talent. They're already working on the fort. Their rotation have allowed them to pressure that even more. Wooby is anchoring the flank, making sure that there's no way for Miracle to collapse onto them. And that's a great spot for Dig. They can move back, wait for 16, and they have the upper hand.
That damage there sets them up for a play on the keep. They're wanting to play for catapults in the next rotation if they can. So taking out that fort just stops that one speed bump that Miracle had available to them. So Dignitas making a pretty darn clever play. Miracle slowed the rotation, but finally they beat off Dignitas. Now Dignitas for the moment is working on setting up a shrine at the top.
Yeah, and the big question here, of course, still remains. How is Miracle going to play this? Are they willing to give this up? Do they maybe push another lane and try to take a fort themselves to get even more experience? Do they just accept that they have to fight against the talent advantage and then engage into the battle?
The obvious play that a majority of teams would do would just go straight to that bottom lane. You go to the opposite side of the map, you try to pull your opponent, then take that fort. That's a big experience. They do have a fort in the middle that's lower on health, and Sonya, if she's able to get on top of that with a minion wave, should be able to clear that out. So I think that's the first option for Miracle, and then rotate to the bottom.
But here's the dangerous part. Miracle splits on 3 lanes because they're saying we need the XP, and Dignitas is reacting immediately. It's like, why would we chase after you? We push through the top, we take that fort, and then we walk up to the keep, maybe destroy the wall already, but that's where our Punisher is going to be the moment we're going to try and make that play for the keep.
This play gets Miracle back in the game, but the play for Dignitas puts him in the spot to end the game. Dignitas already pushing the top side, getting that gate open, and that gate is instrumental. The moment that Dignitas has a jump in from the Punisher and jumps into a target, they can follow it up now, thanks to the turrets not being there.
Pressure still at the bot lane through Sonya. They want 16. Miracle wants it. The Arcane Punisher's coming through, adding insult to injury here. Having the Arcane Punisher push through is making this push even more dangerous. Dignitas would love to get a kill. Punisher engage into a Kerrigan stun could mean game.
Sonya finally gets that fort, and that'll be 16 for Miracle, but as you mentioned, Dignitas on the front door, heading straight in for that keep. How will they follow this up? Iron Skin comes out with the Entomb to lock down Johanna.
Entomb is there, the damage not. Here comes the stay while and listen, and JPL gets wrecked.
Absolutely destroyed, but Snitch pops the mouse from trying to deal with Sonya on the back line, but Sniper willing to jump in. Leorc already backing up the Punisher by itself.
This fight isn't over just yet. Nacho Jin is low, the Punisher there. The Arcane Sentry is dishing out the damage as Miracle is scrambling away. Snitch wants a kill, and he's trying to go for Judy.
Punisher is about to jump again, and Dignitas is aware of it. They want to follow it up. Combo comes out, it hits Nacho Jin, but the Stone Skin comes away. Wubby trying to retreat at the same time while the Punisher gets low.
Snitch, they go for Kerrigan. They try to get the kill here. Judy's there, Nacho Jin follows it up,
Done.
and Snitch goes down. Miracle, they defend the keep, and they take the double kill. They might get a triple here. Zelia is on the run, but he is so close to being attacked by Sniper, and Sniper is catching up.
Yeah, there it is. Ellie turns around and realizes that he needs to die here. He doesn't want to have any delayed deaths. Frankel finally gives that last auto attack. A beautiful defense there by Miracle. Turning around, blowing up a new Brack. But again, the big stay a while listen is the reason why Miracle is able to deliver. Blue Beetle is here to play.
What a fantastic defense. That was so well executed. I was worried they might lose the game there. If that Punisher jumps, Kerrigan follows it, or an Uberak, and all of a sudden there's a first kill coming in. We're not only talking about Key, we're talking core all of a sudden. Miracle is having none of it. They're getting 2 kills, they defend the core and the keep, push Dignitas back, take a fort on the way. Fantastic performance by them, and all of a sudden, they are back in experience.
Exactly, stabilizing the game, which means now our next Punisher is going to be the big one for both of our teams. And if you look at it, both teams currently missing their first layer of defense, except for Miracle in the middle, and that's where the next shrine is at. So Miracle, if they decide they can't quite take that fight, they can play the slow game. They can allow for that fort to take the brunt of a Punisher.
Miracle not sniffing out Whoopi here as he recalls. At the same time, also, we have now, with level 16, of course, the Ruinous Affliction for Gul'dan. And currently, Poik is sitting at 24 stacks. Hasn't completed a level 1 quest just yet, but I also want to highlight that every time we're talking about Sonya, we're talking about her late game capabilities and how she just immensely scales into the late game. The nerves of Steel on 16 are going to give her so much more survivability. And we've seen already how much of a focus Sonya is for Dignitas whenever she engages. They look for just 1 second where Sonya oversteps to immediately punish her. And those nerves of Steel are going to make that a lot harder.
And that's one of the things about Sonya, man. You always have that slight doubt. Can we actually finish this kill? And next thing you know, she's popping the nerves of Steel, and she's back to full health.
Yeah.
So Sonya will definitely be a factor there for Miracle, making sure to get in those spots and not get CC'd to death. Dignitas has a slight experience lead building towards that level 20, and it seems like currently with the pace of the game, we will have 20 for both of our teams. So thinking about that, let's talk about Storm Powers. Suddenly looking at level 20, you got Buried Alive coming online for Leorc, and Leorc has been there to follow up with Johanna every time after she uses the Iron Skin.
Yeah. I feel like once we hit level 20, a lot of it is really going to hinge on Whoopi once again. He needs to be able to land those entombs to get the Buried Alive in, and then the follow-up for a kill. But of course, Johanna with the Indestructible has an immense viability power. You see that going to be even increased through Sonya as well. Bottomless Flask as an option at least that we could see here for Deckard Cain if they feel that those fights are going to hinge on their Shrine fights.
I actually think you could look at level 20 for Miracle and say they might have a slightly better level 20 with the potions that you mentioned, with that ignore pain coming on for Sonya. Even more delay to the point that we were just talking about. So Miracle builds for that 20, and we're going to have that shrine in the middle.
I mean, it's scary. It's exactly what we've been talking about through the draft. Those are such aggressive compositions. We're going to see a lot of brawling happening here. Both of the teams, they want the Storm Talons. There's caution, and they're starting to move in. Storm Talons at exactly the same moment in time are dropping already. Here's Sonya Nitrogen at the front. He wants to be aggressive. He wants to bring the pain.
He brings the pain already, keeping up with that Wrath, clearing out these minions 13 to 11. Dignitas barely leading. Kerrigan looking for the combo. Blind comes out from Judy as he holds the front line.
Respect the Elders over the bottomless flask here for Miracle. Seraphim on the side of Urel as we're seeing them move in. 19 to 21. The cocoon is out. Dignitas tries to make the play, but Poik is under attack from the backline.
The Avenging Wrath comes in. Same time, Sniper tries to go for the retreat. Arrow comes out, connects up on Snitch, but Snitch jumps in. There goes the mouse from Toronto's already been deleted though.
Tirana is down, and they're looking at Poik, and Gul'dan falls. Miracle with a double kill, and Miracle looks for more.
Miracle is just running over Team Dignitas right now. Snitch has some decent shields, and Wubby trying to stay alive with JPL, but do they have the damage here to actually fight against Miracle? And the answer's gotta be a no. Leor gets cleaned up, and Nitrogen makes Snitch completely escape as Kerrigan has to retreat.
Miracle turns around immediately towards the Punisher, and that entire fight started actually with Deckard Cain trying to get his by listen out, but he couldn't. He was insta-interrupted. Snitch jumping away, but he can't escape. He goes down. It's only JPL, and just look at this. They're wrecking the keep at the top side. They ignore the Punisher in the middle. They just simply say, we go core.
Miracle is a team that brings out the upsets, and they're going straight for the core with a Sonya to lead the charge, and a full health Sonya at that. They easily got this here. Wubby trying to come back for the respawn. JPL doing what he can to slow it down, but you can't stop Miracle. Miracle with the Miracle run, able to come forward, look at the core, and start to burn it down. Dignitas suffers their first loss in the HGC Finals.
Great performance here in game one. Initially, all goes Dignitas' way, but it is that mid and late game where we see Miracle with good decision-making, grabbing the 16, defending the top lane push, and then turning it around, bringing the aggression throughout the entire level 20 fight, and then taking no prisoners, going topside, taking down Kerrigan, dropping the keep, and going for the core.
Starting to feel a little like last series, guys. Team Liquid went in, got game one versus Gen G, but then Gen G adapted, evolved, learned from their mistakes, from their errors in order to win, but it was down to the wire, and I think maybe J-How might be a little bit of the same this series.
It feels that way. I mean, melee assassins they're always the double-edged sword. You think you can get the kills, you get the kills, it looks great. In that top lane push, it seemed like that might have been in there. I'm actually like, oh, this might be game over. They did such an amazing job prepping that lane, but the defense by Miracle, at that point, it just changed the entire landscape. So that was a very good defense by Miracle to just turn that around.
And Miracle's melee assassin player was on Urel instead, or Sniper played Urel, then we got Nacho back on his Sonya, and he has shown that several times now in this tournament.
He was quite the factor too when it came to that Sonya, always being on some target, putting out damage. I mean, Leo had a really hard time there. If you have that spear follow up into a slam, something a quarter of his HP is down. If he misses the Drain Hope, he has to escape. Nitrogen killed it this match.
You know, you're talking about Leo, but let's talk about Gul'dan for a second. It wasn't only Wubby that had problems. Poik, every single time we look at those team fights, had to deal with the Urel that was jumping at him from the back. You always saw that anchored play. Urel goes in, and then Poik is like trying to scramble away from this while still attempting to dish the damage out. It was great play by Miracle.
Yeah, even in that last fight, there was that great flank around the side from the Shrine that ended up being to the undoing of Poik, but also even Zalia too. But J-How, where did things really start to turn for you?
Well, it seemed like Dignitas took a lot of control near that mid-game right after 10. We're actually going to take a look at one of the big fights because, I mean, a lot of this is really going to be framed around the fact that they have their eyes, does Miracle, they have it on Snitch here. And if you actually look at the mini-map, you can see that Hanzo's down there. Max range is, there's going to be a little bit better one there, but he's going to shoot the max range Dragon Arrow. So we'll get this started because it's actually coming in here. And the reason you can tell all this is because Deckard's following up with the scroll, trying to get the lockdown. They actually miss, and so now they're committed to a fight. They actually zone off pretty well, and they commit, and right now you see the plays coming in. Blue Beetle trying to get the stay while and listen here in a moment, but Anubrak comes out. So when you get into this moment, it's like, all right, we're committed to a team fight. So if we pause right here, you now see that you do have Sniper all the way in, trying to live on this URL. Post level 10, it's a lot easier to get these plays going, but look at everybody on Dignitas. They're still so safe. and you have Hanzo still making his way into the fight. He's actually way over here still on the far right of the screen. So as we go forward, it's all about Wubby making the big plays on the backside. He knows his positioning. He knows the moment he wants to create. So as we go forward, you're actually going to see just an amazing Entomb, because they get the combo here, and that's great to start with. But the minute he gets here, just go ahead and pause right now, because you can see the Entomb just separates everybody from the team. They do get the trade out onto the Anubrak, but as you play it forward, you actually see Dignitas put themselves in such a good position. They're going to get a double kill outside of this. That's going to be kill number 1. Then they find the Yrel in the cocoon. They get the second kill. This actually put Dignitas up at the end of this. They got the bottom fort. They got some structures down, and that's when they started to amass their 2-level lead shortly after just those 2 kills right there. That was like the early tide turning, but as Kaldor said, the mid to late game for Miracle, the comeback there was real, because when Dignitas gets in those situations, they very rarely ever let a team back in. So all credit to Miracle to get back into that game.
Yeah, and the defense of that keep. Trick, I don't know why Wubby doesn't like Leoric, because he has some of the most creative Entombs.
Just not as fun. You get your Rel jumping around, hopping, going for the Goomba stomps. You got to be honest, man. You got to love jumping around.
Yeah, but it's fun to make a box and make people stay in it or body block with it. I like Leoric. I think, do you like Leoric, Kaldor?
I don't know, what talents does he have?
I've heard a few talents from you know, something about being ominous.
I think I heard that before. Yeah. No, but like, let's come back to that Leoric for just a second. Normally when we're seeing Wubby, they're really homing in on that Yrel very quickly, and that has been a huge part of their success too. But now you look at this, and it was actually Miracle who immediately took that away. Could have even seen a ban here. And I think Yrel might play a big part for the rest of the series.
Well, after we hear a quick word from our sponsors, we'll be back with Game 2 between Team Dignitas and Miracle.
The 2018 HGC Finals are brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Corsair, T-Mobile, Samsung SSD, and NVIDIA.